Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to tell you the truth about what happened to Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. It is gradually coming out what happened to him. I don't know why it is coming out this time around. We are all aware he was kidnapped, but there are certain things that transpired before they finally considered returning him to Nigeria. I believe there are more revelations, but listen to the people who had been speaking to him in custody and you will know something happened, and I believe more is coming.
Innocent.
That he must take him back.
Somebody that was tortured for 7 days in Kenya, he told me that they have already brought car. That's why I'm looking at all those people that are attacking that young man. That young man is a different species. I must say it here. Nnamdi Kanu is not an ordinary human being. I must say it. Yes. If you are chasing him, you are just chasing somebody that did not commit anything against you. He said that they have already brought a car, that they should put him inside the car, lock it, and set the car ablaze.
Whoa.
There in Kenya, is only one police officer said no. The man said no, and the worst of it is that the police officer who was telling them no was the most genuine. Said no, that he will not be a party to this. This man is innocent.
That he must take him back to Nigeria.
That if the Nigeria are not coming to take him, that they will release him. That's why the then government send a private jet with the money. According to Nnamdi Kanu, I'm quoting Nnamdi Kanu what he told me.
Yes.
That the money, the cash, dollars they gave all those police officers. That's why from that place they detained him as Nnamdi Kanu straight to the tarmac. They brought him back here. But as I speak to you, his British passport is still in Kenya. I don't know whether you're going to say. His British passport is still in Kenya. The house where he was staying in Kenya is still under lock and key. His documents, everything is still in that place. Now they brought him here. I wish that you would make our time to read the judgment of Kenya. You see what Kenya court did to their own country. There is no name they did not call that attitude, and awarded hundreds of millions of naira in Nnamdi Kanu's favor. I don't know whether you know what I'm saying.
Yes. So what about the British? He is a British citizen and was passport carrying. He was carrying his British passport during that journey to Kenya. I think that should have been.
According to Nnamdi Kanu, one of the problems he's having is Britain. You know that, British government, those people, anything they are doing is their own selfish interest. They don't care
about their own citizen.
That is it. In the judgment they gave, one of the actions, I think that's the one the son and the wife filed. They wrote and said that they consider their relationship with Nigeria first before any other thing. It was in the judgment.
They prefer their relationship with Nigeria more than their own citizen.
Yes. Yes.
Whoa.
Because how dare you, your own citizen that was kidnapped in a foreign country, against all the relevant international laws? Because Extradition Act made the procedure upon which somebody can be brought. The procedures are there. The laws are there. You must follow it.
Okay, that was Maxwell Opara's statement. He has spoken with Nnamdi Kanu severally. We are going to analyze it. Please make sure you keep this video somewhere. This is going to be more of tutorial. This is a perfect answer you will give somebody based on what Maxwell said. Maxwell started by talking about Nnamdi Kanu being kidnapped and tortured in Kenya. What he said Nnamdi Kanu was tortured for 7 days in Kenya. Kenyan security operatives were allegedly asked to put him inside a car, lock him up secretly, even to consider Meanwhile, a particular Kenyan police officer refused, insisting Kanu was innocent. He would not participate in an illegal act. If Nigeria did not come officially, Kanu should be released. Something would have gone wrong even before Kanu came to Nigeria. But for the sake of that particular Kenyan police officer, remember, we are talking based on the narration given by Maxwell Opara, who is one of the legal representatives of Nnamdi Kanu. So what this suggests is that there is an illegal detention. It is not a lawful arrest or extradition. Now let's look at what he alleged. The bribery and the secret transfer part of the whole thing. He said Nigeria allegedly sent a private jet, cash dollars. The money was allegedly given to Kenyan officers. After that, Kanu was taken straight to the airport tarmac. According to him, no court process, no extradition hearing, no paperwork. And here is the implication of this. This describes extraordinary rendition, not extradition. What happened was extraordinary rendition, not extradition. Now we'll get to the third part of this story, the part which talked about British passport and unresolved evidence. Here are important details raised. Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen. His British passport is still in Kenya. His house in Kenya remains locked. His personal documents are still there. And here is why it matters. If he was lawfully extradited, his passport will be processed. I don't think it will be in Kenya. And his resident status will be resolved. Documents will be transferred. The fact that they are untouched supports the claim of abduction. Now, on Kenyan court judgment, what Opara emphasized, Kenyan courts condemned the Kenyan government harshly, said Kenya violated its own sovereignty, awarded huge damages, according to Maxwell Opara, hundreds of millions to Kanu. Judges reportedly called Kenya's conduct lawless, shameful, a betrayal of constitutional duty. And here are the key implications. A foreign court officially ruled that Kanu was illegally abducted. Now let's go to the British side of this story. Britain's role and alleged negligence. Here is Opera's criticism. Britain allegedly prioritized diplomatic relations with Nigeria, ignores its own citizens' rights. He claims British authorities knew, but chose silence. They chose politics over protection. A citizen's protection's failure, according to the lawyer. So what it means is that the British government wants to save its relationship with Nigeria. They prefer that it remains cordial than interfering. Their citizens has been wrongly treated, but what they are interested in is that their relationship with Nigeria remains cordial. They are not mindful of what happens to their citizens. And what they call a direct citizen. So this, even you that thinks you are holding their passports, all these things are valueless for me. Imagine you are holding a British passport after having known what happened to Nnamdi Kanu. You realize their priority is more on their relationship with Nigeria and not on you that is holding their passports. Okay, now here is why the legal procedure is very important. The example and the illustration Opara gave. Even if someone commits armed robbery in front of a judge, you cannot sentence immediately. There must be an arrest, there must be statement, there must be investigation, there must be legal advice, there must be formal charge. The person must be formally charged. And there must be court arraignment and legal representation. He said if the person doesn't have a lawyer, they can give him a lawyer. And there must be understanding of the charge. The person must understand why he's being charged. And there is also the plea, the trial. And there must be proof beyond reasonable doubt. So it doesn't matter if the judge is seeing it. It's not like what happened in Nigeria. A lot of people are saying he has been judged even before time. And having known that he has been judged even before time, that they have written the judgment, I think that prompts his reaction. What Opera is trying to say, no matter how guilty someone appears, procedure must be followed. Was that really followed in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case? So, according to Opera, none of the above procedures were followed. Instead, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was seized, moved secretly, flown in privately, and presented in court as if lawfully arrested. And there is consequences for this. The Court of Appeal ruled that the manner of Kanu's return tainted the entire trial, that ordinarily rendition invalidates jurisdiction. Rendition invalidates jurisdiction. Based on that rendition matter, you are not supposed to even try him further. And that is why 3 judges ruled on that, even though, yes, it is in the news, those 3 judges were moved away from Abuja. They were moved to certain states because the federal government was not happy with their ruling. It was not expected. The federal government thought, oh, it is normal day. And those 3 judges stood out. They said, no. Based on how Nnamdi Kanu was brought into this country, that invalidates any trial. The contradiction in the final outcome. Here is the problem highlighted. Despite the Kenyan court judgment, Court of Appeal ruling, international law violations, the trial court still convicted and sentenced him. Opera's frustration, he sees a legal contradiction. Illegally brought in, yet legally convicted. Note that place again. Let's repeat that place. Illegally brought in, yet legally convicted. That's the problem. You can't be trying him based on how he was brought in. Something has gone wrong already. The trial shouldn't have continued. The renditioning process, kidnapping from Kenya, has damaged everything. And worse, a court, judges in Nigeria ruled this has damaged everything. The federal government refused. The Buhari-led government refused. The Malami structure refused. And that is why when Malami is talking about it, currently he's facing his own problem. And when he's talking about rights, he's no longer in power. When he's talking about rights, people are like, while you were there, did you respect the rights of other people? Now let's look at everything again as we round up. Maxwell Opara's central argument is that Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, not extradited. There's a process for extradition. So he was actually kidnapped. The process violated was Nigerian law, Kenyan law, international law. And courts in Nigeria acknowledge the violation. And court in Nigeria and a court in Kenya. Yet the final conviction ignored this violation. This creates a dangerous precedent for the rule of law. And here is why this matters. If Nnamdi Kanu's case stands, any citizen can be abducted abroad. Due process becomes optional. If Nnamdi Kanu's case stands, that means it can be done to anybody, because it builds a legal precedence for other rulings to follow. In the court, you hear them, the lawyers, the judges mention this verse, this, so quoting it. If this particular ruling is allowed to stand, there is problem. That means people can be kidnapped abroad and brought in for trial. And due process becomes optional. And courts will become secondary to political power. Today it is Kanu, tomorrow it could be any Nigerian. And remember, this was what Buhari attempted in the case of Umaru Diko. While Buhari was a military government, this is same Buhari trying it on another person. If this is allowed to stand, wahala day. I see danger, wahala day. For you people who, he has a case to answer. That is not the case. The case is, are people being brought in that way to be tried? Must legal due process be followed? Yes. Can you abduct somebody from another country and bring him here to be tried? Is that the way to go? For those people who think, oh, he has a case to answer. Yes, if indeed he had a case to answer. Something has destroyed everything, kidnapping him. And by the way, prior to Nnamdi Kanu leaving Nigeria, something happened. Remember, he had to appear in the court. Yes, we are aware. There's a date that has already been fixed. What happened prior to that date? He was planning to go to court. All of a sudden, we had Operation Egweke Python Dance. His home was invaded. Even people were killed. Everybody knows this in Nigeria. Whatever happens, we don't know how he managed to escape for his life. So that also scuttles everything. I'm talking about his arrest in 2017. Towards the Operation Python Dance. So viewers, what do you think? Add your comment on the comment section, please. Make sure you store this video on your archive. It's very important. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Like our page. Follow us on all platforms that you see us. Share this video widely. I'm Azuka Oja. I say bye-bye for now.